What if I told you that the shoes you're planning to wear on your next flight could actually put your life at risk? Flight attendants, people trained to handle fires, crash landings, and emergency evacuations, say millions of passengers make this dangerous mistake every day. Before your next trip, you'll want to hear the 3 types of shoes they strongly recommend you never wear on a plane. Most people spend a lot of time thinking about what to pack in their carry-on bags, which seat to choose, or whether to upgrade to business class. But very few people stop to think about what they are wearing on their feet when they board a plane. It turns out that this small, seemingly insignificant decision could make a massive difference in a life-or-death situation. Flight attendants, the trained professionals who spend more hours in the air than almost anyone else on the planet, have been speaking out about a habit that passengers continue to repeat on nearly every single flight. Wearing the wrong shoes on a plane is not just a matter of comfort, it is a matter of survival. These are the men and women who are trained to handle emergency evacuations, fires, crash landings, and every other worst-case scenario imaginable. When they tell you something about safety, it is worth listening. And what they are saying about footwear is something every traveler needs to hear before their next trip. Today's video is all about being prepared before you fly. Another simple way to protect yourself while traveling is with Safety Wing travel insurance, which can help provide peace of mind when unexpected travel or medical issues arise away from home. To understand why shoes are such a critical concern, you need to think about what actually happens during an aircraft emergency. When a plane makes an emergency landing or experiences a sudden incident, passengers are expected to evacuate the aircraft as quickly as possible. Aviation safety guidelines suggest that a full evacuation should be completed in under 90 seconds. That is an incredibly short window of time, and every second counts. During that evacuation, passengers may be running across debris-covered floors, stepping over broken materials, navigating through smoke-filled cabins, and sliding down emergency evacuation slides that can reach temperatures hot enough to cause burns. The type of shoes you are wearing in that moment determines whether you make it out safely or whether you become injured before you even reach the exit. Flight attendants see passengers board planes in completely inappropriate footwear every single day, and they are increasingly vocal about the very real risks this creates. At the very top of the list of footwear that flight attendants warn against are flip-flops and open-toed sandals. These are perhaps the most commonly worn shoes on flights, especially during summer travel, or when passengers are heading to beach destinations. They feel casual, comfortable, and easy to slip on and off at security checkpoints. But in an emergency, they become a serious liability. Flip-flops offer zero protection for your feet. They can easily fall off during a rushed evacuation, leaving you barefoot on a floor covered in broken glass, twisted metal, or burning debris. Open-toed sandals expose your feet to the same dangers. Flight attendants have specifically called out this type of footwear in interviews and on social media, urging passengers to reconsider this seemingly harmless choice. The comfort of wearing flip-flops for a few hours simply does not outweigh the risk they create when things go wrong at 30,000 feet. One thing experienced travelers understand is that the biggest travel problems are usually the ones you never see coming. A delayed flight, lost luggage, unexpected illness, or a medical emergency in another state or country can quickly turn a dream trip into an expensive headache. That's why many travelers choose Safety Wing travel insurance before they leave home. For a relatively small cost compared to the price of most trips, you can travel knowing you have an extra layer of protection if things don't go according to plan. The reality is that none of us expect travel disruptions or medical issues, but they happen every day. Before your next flight, take a few minutes to see if Safety Wing is right for you. The link is in the description, and it's one of the easiest ways to travel with greater confidence and peace of mind. High heels present an entirely different category of danger, and it is one that affects not just the person wearing them, but every other passenger on the plane. Emergency evacuation slides are made of a specific material designed to allow passengers to slide down quickly and safely. High heels, particularly stilettos, can puncture or tear these slides, rendering them unusable for the passengers who come after you. This is why many airlines actually instruct passengers to remove high heels before using evacuation slides. But in a chaotic emergency situation, not everyone remembers or follows those instructions. Beyond the slide issue, high heels make it extremely difficult to move quickly through a narrow aircraft aisle, especially when other passengers are panicking and pushing. They also increase the risk of ankle injuries during a rough landing or sudden stop. Flight attendants are trained to spot these risks, and they consistently list high heels among the most dangerous choices a passenger can make. Slides and mules, which are backless shoes that have become incredibly popular in recent years, fall into a similar danger zone as flip-flops. The lack of a backstrap means these shoes can slip off your feet at the worst possible moment. Imagine trying to run down an aisle or slide down an evacuation ramp while your shoes are flying off with every step. It creates a tripping hazard not just for you, but for every person behind you trying to evacuate at the same time. Flight attendants point out that in an emergency, the cabin can become extremely dark due to smoke or power failure, making it nearly impossible to find a shoe you have lost in the chaos. Backless shoes also offer no ankle support, which becomes critical when you are navigating uneven or unstable surfaces during an emergency exit. The good news is that dressing for safety does not mean sacrificing comfort or style. Flight attendants and aviation safety experts consistently recommend wearing closed-toe shoes with a secure fit whenever you board a plane. Sneakers are widely considered the gold standard for air travel footwear. They cover and protect your entire foot. They stay securely on your feet during movement. They provide ankle support, and they are comfortable enough for long-haul flights. Lace-up shoes, or shoes with secure straps, are also excellent choices. The key qualities to look for are full foot coverage, a secure fastening system, and a sturdy sole that can handle rough terrain. Some frequent flyers and aviation professionals also recommend wearing shoes made from natural materials like leather or canvas, rather than synthetic materials, as natural fabrics are less likely to melt or cause burns in the event of a fire on board. The conversation about shoes is really part of a much larger discussion about how passengers think about safety when they fly. Most people board a plane with the assumption that nothing will go wrong, and statistically speaking, they are usually right. Air travel remains one of the safest forms of transportation in the world. But the reason it is so safe is precisely because aviation professionals take every possible precaution seriously, no matter how small it might seem. Flight attendants go through rigorous training that covers everything from first aid to fire suppression to emergency evacuations. They are not sharing advice about footwear to be dramatic or to ruin your vacation vibe. They are sharing it because they have seen what happens when passengers are not prepared, and they want every person on their flight to have the best possible chance of walking away safely if the unexpected occurs. The next time you are packing for a trip and you reach for those flip-flops or slide them onto your feet before heading to the airport, take a moment to reconsider. The flight itself might only be a few hours long, but those few hours represent a window of time during which being properly prepared could make all the difference. Tossing a pair of sneakers into your bag and wearing them on the plane is such a small and easy adjustment to make. You can always change into your sandals or heels once you have landed and are safely at your destination. Flight attendants are not asking passengers to overhaul their entire travel wardrobe. They are simply asking for one small act of awareness that could, in a genuine emergency, be the difference between walking away unharmed and facing a serious injury. Listen to the people who fly every single day. They know things the rest of us do not, and when it comes to what you wear on your feet at 30,000 feet, their advice is worth taking seriously.